Who? Well, welcome to Friday. It's not our usual day. It's not our usual time. But it's our usual charm, and it's our usual Grant. And I'm Mark Trowbridge with our Coral Gables Chamber of Commerce. And welcome to Miami's community newspapers and our weekly show. Thrilled to be with you here. And, well, it's our last official Friday in June. And hard to believe that a week from today we'll be beginning our 4th of July long weekend. And I certainly want to hear what you've got planned and traveling, Grant. Welcome, Grant Miller.
Grant Miller here. Speak about who let the dogs out. You can join the chamber right now at 305-446-1657. It's the end of the month. We need
end of the
members.
Month, call 305-446. Talk to Jen. Oh, I can do the whole number. 305-446-1657. Ask for Jen. We've got a great promo going on in June that's available just for a few more hours.
It's just like a telephone. I feel like I'm Jerry Lewis.
Well, you're about the same height.
Is he? Was he short?
No.
Oh, okay. So listen.
Do you know why we played Who Let the Dogs Out?
Why?
Because today is National Take Your Dog to Work Day.
Where's your dog?
You know, Winston is as a member of the union. So Fridays he's off.
He's off.
He's off playing golf. You know, we went out this morning. We typically walk
like, is that
around
like a
the
date
same
you went
time.
out? You went out? Okay.
No, it was a typical time we go out for a walk. And, you know, he's not, he doesn't like this time of the year for three reasons. One, it's already very warm at about 7 a.m. Two, there's a lot of times a little dew or moisture on the grass, and he absolutely hates that. And three, it cuts into his either eating or sleeping or being ornery time. So
sounds like a regular human being.
He is. You know, we look more and more like each other the longer we live together. He's been with me now a little more than 11 years. He was a rescue, a surrender. So I got him when he was a little about a year and a half. And he's been great. Oh, we're live and in stereo.
Tommy, can you come over and boost this?
Tommy, great to be with you. What's that great cap you got there?
That is the Sugar King cap. Miami Marlins Sugar King tribute.
Oh, that's nice. Was that to a Negro League team?
No, it was to the 1959 Havana Sugar King.
Oh, the Havana Sugar Kings. So, you know, my nephew and I are all into like minor league teams. So we're going to Savannah for our boys weekend in July, and we're going to see the Savannah Bananas.
Wow. And
so we've got shirts. He's probably not listening, but I've bought us matching sweatbands that we'll wear to the game that night. Super excited. Hopefully we're going to go see sometime the Macon Bacons from Macon, Georgia.
Macon. And Tommy interviewed what minor league team?
Lexington Legends.
Coached by a local Homestead kid, grew up at Homestead.
I love it.
Yeah. So again,
those guys don't make a lot of money. They don't have, the contract riders where they get, first class tickets. They might get like the third row of the bus heading to an away game. But
can you turn your Facebook on? And we're going to do a little thing with your Facebook.
I don't know how to do that.
Okay, never mind. Okay. So again, people ask all the time, why do we do this show? The main reason is to promote Coral Gables as a whole.
As a community.
Right. And then Coral Gables Chamber of Commerce that's larger than the city boundaries. We were last night. We were kind of together, but not together. It's kind of romantic.
We originally were going to do the show yesterday and then carpool. But per usual, you dumped me for Aaron.
Okay.
I mean, I get it.
Okay.
I totally get it.
Okay. So we go up to Aventura. Let's talk about that.
We did. We went to Aventura Mall at the invitation of Elaine Adler.
Go ahead.
Our good friend. And we were doing a surprise tribute and evening of excitement for our friend Bill Talbert, the outgoing CEO of the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau. And he's going to be retiring toward the end of the year. And it was awesome.
Can you sing the song that you sang?
So what we did was we wrote a tribute to Bill using the music of Sweet Caroline. And then had 4 or 5 chamber presidents
Can you find that
join
song?
me.
Sweet Caroline.
And it was fun. So it's really great. If you go to our Instagram, Grant did an amazing video along with his consigliere, Aaron, that talks about the event, It talks about Bill Talbert, and it also has some nice clips of what we did.
Now you had a
Tommy can bring that up, right?
He's going to bring sweet. Okay. He's going to play Sweet.
Oh,
Caroline.
I thought he was going to bring up the little video.
So, what other chambers were involved there?
My goodness. So we sang, and my backup singers were from Kamakal, Greater Miami Chamber, Greater North Miami Chamber, Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce, Elaine, of course, and oh gosh, there was at least one other one.
All right, ready? Are you ready to sing it? This is it, baby.
Yeah, but I don't have the words that I sang to Bill. Da, da, da.
Ready?
Mm-hmm. There was you, Billy T.
Billy T.
Charming us from A to Z.
A to Z.
Always bringing the love for Greater Miami. How about that?
That was good. But it was...
Those weren't the lyrics, but I just worked those out.
But it was pretty impressive. But the point of we're talking about Greater Miami, Coral Gables Chamber. Coral Gables Chamber serves all of Dade County. You have the most...
About 30% of our members are outside of the City Beautiful.
But Coral Gables and Doral Coral Gables probably has more banks than anywhere in that small mileage than anywhere else, other maybe than Doral.
Yeah. And Doral, typically the banks that are there, the headquarters are probably in the Gables. So think of like, Bank OZK, headquartered in the Gables, but has offices in Wynwood and out in Doral. Amarant Bank, headquartered in the Gables, but also has a presence out in
What
Doral.
is that liquor company that's at headquarters in the...
We have two. We have Bacardi and we have Diageo.
See?
And technically we have Agave out of Mexico that has two developments in Coral Gables.
All right. So again,
we've got the spirit.
Yeah. This hour slot is for the promote Coral Gables Chamber members,
sure,
trustees, regular members, how to better your community, and it makes it bigger. So
listen, the last year has been tough on business, and some of our members had to step away, obviously, for financial reasons. Some had to step away because they weren't seeing the value of not getting together, and some of them stepped away because they were trying to keep the doors open. And so now's the time to return for a couple of reasons. We're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. We are having in-person events and meetings.
In 2 weeks, you have a breakfast.
We do have a breakfast on July 15th.
I am at the Biltmore.
Yeah, 3 weeks from yesterday.
Pretty exciting. It's really exciting.
Yeah, we've got Coach Gino Damari, and Coach Damari is the head baseball coach. They had a good run to the postseason. They've got some new facilities on campus.
He was a good football player too.
Oh, I didn't know that. I don't know much about
the Damaris,
Gina, but I know a lot about the Damaris. They are the tomato kings of Florida.
Yeah, it's a great thing about the Damaris.
Paul and Swanee.
Yeah, the great thing about the Damaris is not just the tomatoes; they give back to the community.
Oh, tremendously! That's how I've gotten to know who they are. They're very generous with, institutions around town, nonprofits around town. They have a great collection of wonderful friends who support their causes, and they in turn do that. And they really are part of the philanthropic fabric, leading at the highest level of philanthropy.
Absolutely.
So Gino will be with us, whether you're a Hurricane fan or a baseball fan or just a fan of the wonderful University of Miami, our partner institution. The opportunity will be there to be in person, limited attendance of about 150, 160 people, tables of 6 instead of 10, and socially distanced between the tables as well. And while you're inside, if you're not vaccinated, then we will obviously encourage you to wear a mask or to whatever your comfort level is. You asked me today, you came in with a mask. And a lot of times I do it for other people. Yeah, I do it for other people as much as for myself, but feeling much more confident each and every day.
But you already had COVID.
I had the vaccine, the second vaccine, the 2 weeks, and then I got exposed to COVID and had a very mild case, but I did
was
my
it
11
like a
days.
Cold? Was it like a cold?
It's more like allergies for me. I really thought it was my allergies. I had little itchy eyes, and then I had a little congestion, and that was about the worst of it. Thankfully, no respiratory issues. I thought there was a day that I couldn't really smell anything, but that's not always a bad thing when you're hanging out with me.
No. So did you eat? I have to jump back because I love food. Did you eat that chicken last night?
No, I didn't eat anything. So, one of the reasons that I've been successful in my weight loss is that I haven't attended in-person events for like a year and a half, where I typically would nibble, munch,
I don't
drink
nibble.
a soda. And then I would be like, God, I'm still hungry, but I'm not super hungry. And I never had any food at home. So then I would hit some kind of fast food place. So it was the double.
Well, that's what happened last night.
Double
to me.
whammy.
I had a lot of that chicken. The Jamaican chicken was unbelievable.
Was that over by the door?
It was in the back.
Okay.
So, and then on the way home, I go, God, I'm still hungry. What should I do? I go to Susie Battle. You know who's Susie Battle?
She's the best. Azúcar.
So I went to Susie. They're not a member yet, are they?
I think they were a member, and then Susie got very busy opening in Texas. And, a lot of times when the owner is also the engaged, active person, when they don't have the time, it makes sense. So we need you to empower people on your team.
I was speaking to Mr. Knowles.
Yes, Eric Knowles.
Who runs the Miami-Dade Chamber.
Yes.
And we were talking about being part of chambers, how people sometimes say, I didn't get anything out of it. Whatever business organization you belong to, you need to be involved. You need to get on a committee. You need to attend. You need to be part of it. You don't do those things, you're not going to get anything back. Am I correct?
Yeah, I had a member last week send a note to a staff member that said, we're not going to rejoin. We haven't really gotten any return on our investment. And, the staff sent it to me, and I wrote back and I said, offer them, a payment plan. We'll work with anybody. I said, but more importantly, for any event that they attended last year, give them a credit back against their membership. So if they went to 5 breakfasts, that's $100. If they went to 10 Wine Down Wednesdays, that's $100.
Wine,
we'll give you
W-I-N-E?
W-I-N-D.
Where's Morgan?
Morgan's off today. She's, I think she's going to a wedding or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
So again,
you and I are flying solo. So I said, give them their credit back. But you know what I already knew, right?
They didn't go to any meetings.
Correct.
And top it all, so
they were embarrassed when I said, well, you can't get a return if you don't participate, even in a virtual space. Participate.
And then the other weakness that these business organizations is when you go with partners from your business, or if you're a bank and get 7 people from your bank showing up, do not sit together.
Yes, we have
sit at different tables. It's crazy. I see some of these banks or insurance people. They all sit together and they go, I didn't get any business. Of course not.
But you know what they used to say to me? They go, we never see each other because we're in different offices, or we're out on the road. We never see each other. And so I'm like, oh gosh, I feel bad. All right.
No, you're not going to see each other if you don't make sales either. You're not going to be there. So let's talk about.
I thought I was tough.
Let's talk about something I love: teaching.
Oh, I thought we were going to talk about me.
It was so exciting yesterday.
Okay,
go ahead. Let's hear about St. Thomas University.
So St. Thomas has been great. It's hard to believe, but the summer semester is over. I gave the final exam on Tuesday night. The students did their oral presentations.
Is that to everybody?
Everybody.
So you make your presentation to all the students?
To all the students.
Wow. Okay, so
the students had to pick a negotiation that they would review, dissect, and present. So we had students that did one on like Serena Williams and some of her endorsements. Another one did a review of the trade of Carson Wentz to the Colts. Another one did one on the SEC and their new contract with ESPN.
That's a good, interesting.
Yeah. Shaquille O'Neal going to the Lakers. That was another one. So some were older that they could find a good amount of information on, and they had to basically talk about 5 points. Who were the principals? What were the issues and sticking points? How did they get to an agreement? And, what was, the public sentiment? So, think about Shaquille O'Neal. He went to the Lakers years and years ago, but to this day, he talks about the fact that maybe he should have stayed in Orlando and been the franchise guy that they built the team around for years to come. When he went to LA, obviously he had a young guy, kind of the Penny Hardaway that he had in Orlando, Kobe Bryant. And the same thing when he came to Miami, Dwayne Wade. So, he didn't win a championship in Orlando, but they got to the finals. They were swept in the finals, went to LA. And of course, he brought us our first championship here, he and Dwayne Wade in 2006.
Have you ever met him?
Shaquille O'Neal?
Yeah.
I have never met him.
All right. So,
and by the way, I've known him since college because he played for LSU.
So 8 times.
And so he came to Florida, once a year, every year. I don't know if he stayed through his senior year, but I saw him play. And first of all, they had a monster team. And second of all, they had a great coach. And then third, he just came in and basically, mopped us off the court. We weren't so great in the late 80s. That was it was before Lon Kruger and before a lot of those guys. We had Norm Sloan.
Okay. So I don't need to know who the student is.
Mm-hmm.
What was the best presentation?
So that's a really good question. I based the presentation on really 4 criteria. One is, did you pick a negotiation that you could do a deep dive into? Secondly, did you do that deep dive and did you reference materials? Third, how did you put it together? And fourth, how did you present it? So I think, I'm a little bit probably biased in terms of if you're a really great presenter and you have an opportunity to get up there and you really sell what you're talking about. So probably the student who talked about the Carson Wentz deal and the Eagles and the Colts. And there was a little back and forth, obviously, because there was some humor in that. And then secondly, probably 1A was, because I learned a lot, was about the deal between ESPN and the SEC. Because, CBS has long had the rights and was paying the league about $55 million over the deal. This deal, 10 years, $3 billion. So I'm sorry, $55 million a year. It's going to be $300 million a year. Now divide that up by the SEC. That's big money coming back to the SEC. So
George has a question. George Gonzalez.
Yep.
Can you read it?
Says, I'm not tipping 36%. Is that what that says?
No, it says that
from there.
he.
I can tell you. It says he's been to a couple restaurants in the Gables that are doing 18% tip.
Right.
And that means autograph. But then the waitress says that isn't her tip, and her tip would be the additional.
So I heard this the other day from a member of ours about a very specific restaurant. And I said, could I reach out to the owner and ask that question? And they preferred that I not do that because they wanted to handle it in a different way, which is fine. But that would surprise me. And that first of all, I don't know anything about that.
But how many times have you gone to a restaurant, the tip's included, but you didn't see it and you added another tip?
Oh, I've done that many times. Never
times.
In the Gables because I tend to know the restaurants too well. But remember, when a tip is added, you can have it removed and tip how you wish to do.
But I understand, George. But
I'd like to know, George, and maybe you can private message Tommy, because I'd like to just corroborate that it's the restaurant that someone reached out to me about last week that they didn't want me to follow.
Or George, you could text me at 305-323-8206.
So, and you're right. The easiest way to deal with that is by not going back. But to add so that you're saying that that's sort of a service charge, and then the tip would be over and above that. So it'd be like 18%, and then you might add another 18 or
the wait servers trying to double tip it. Let's move to the next thing. Speak about LSU.
Yeah.
Good friend of Miami-Dade County, Paul Mineri, just retired. The baseball coach. Did you see the piece ESPN did?
I did not see it.
Oh my God, you can't help but
now,
cry.
did they hire a new coach? Because Paul Mineri is in a pretty significant coaching tree. So some of the finalists that they were talking to had either coached under him or coached with him when he was an assistant.
I don't know if they hired him, but I know that the Ole Miss was trying to get the job, and
he had a long stint there after Skip Bertram.
Yeah, Paul grew
Bertman,
up,
who had been at Miami.
Paul Mineri grew up at 106th Street in Ludlow.
And did he coach under Skip at Miami?
No. Paul went from Palmetto Junior High that we went to school. He went to Columbus, and from Columbus he went to where did he go? I don't remember college, but he ended up coaching right away. He coached Biscayne. That was St. Thomas, and he went out. And then he went to Air Force.
So the only reason I know anything about this is one, Paul's connection to Miami,
right,
and two is our baseball coach had to release a public statement that he was not a candidate for the job,
the Florida coach.
Taking the job.
You say ours, I assume.
Sorry, the Florida job, not Gino. Apologies.
Gino's not going
anywhere. Florida coach. And I thought that was strange because when you say I'm not doing something, is that really news?
It sounds like
and LSU kind of disavowed that they were even talking to him.
Like
so it was like this.
It was like Saban when in the Dolphins. I am not applying.
And we have a natural rivalry with LSU. We beat them for in the World Series a couple of years ago. The SEC is so deep. I think the SEC put 3 teams into the College World Series. And Tommy, I don't remember who won, but you had Vanderbilt in there. You had
North Carolina State.
Yeah, but I was thinking the SEC. You had Vandy.
Oh.
Can't remember if you had Arkansas or not, and I think you had Mississippi State. And then you had 2 ACC teams, and then you had 2 Pac-10 teams, and then a wild card.
All right.
I love college baseball, by the way.
Do you?
I love college baseball. I love college softball.
University of Miami baseball. I used to, not this season. I'd go, pull in.
Yeah.
I'd have my hamburger, my fries, my Coke. Then I'd go to Sheehy's.
No shake.
No. Then I'd go to Sheehy's stand. And he'd usually have hot chili for me. I'd walk down the stairs, pay homage to Red Berry, who sits at the stairs, say hello to people.
Why have we ever gone to a game together?
Because I don't.
That sounds like my style of like wandering around and just eating.
I walk around, say hello to everybody. By the 3rd or 4th inning, I don't get to the first, say hello to everybody, and then I go.
So my only ever criticism of Grant is he never sits down.
No, and
so Erica will be like, "We've got 180 people coming to breakfast plus Grant."
Yeah. So
and I'm like,
so then I would stand and talk to the scouts.
I try to put you at my table, and you're like, "No thanks."
So the baseball games, I'd sit and talk to the scouts, and there's nothing better.
Did George text you?
Not yet, but George will text us. Okay, let's talk about what's happening. We have Pride Month.
Yeah, so Pride Month is the month of June, and it will be wrapping up here next Wednesday. But we are hosting an event with the Miami Marlins in honor of Pride Month. Myself, Steve Adkins from the Gay and Lesbian Chamber, Penny Schaefer from Florida Blue, and Billy Bean from Major League Baseball. So I'm moderating a panel on inclusivity. It's virtual.
Virtual. Oh.
Yeah, it's next Tuesday, the 29th at 1 o'clock. Super excited. So my connection to Billy Bean is that he played for the Tigers.
Of course, everybody knows
and
that.
So I bought, or my nephew gave me, because I had been telling him I wanted to buy one. He gave me 2 Pride hats. I have a Detroit Tigers Pride hat, and I have a Miami Marlins Pride hat, which I'll be wearing at different times during the program. So tune in with us. I actually invited all of my students to come and join the program next Tuesday, the 29th, in honor of Pride Month. We're not doing Pride at the Park in June because of capacity issues.
Right.
So Pride in the Park is going to be in September. That we'll co-host and co-sponsor with Steve's chamber as well.
I was speaking to Damian Padrone, matters where you're from.
It's not where you're from. Those are completely 2 different names.
All right.
That's like Deborah and Deborah.
Okay, Deborah.
From Milf Island. Okay. Those are 2 different women.
So Deborah. So Damian and I were talking about what Pride Month stands for, and he says, now it's not just the LP. What's all the initials?
LGBTQIA+.
Plus. Those pluses are important.
Yes.
Because it's now becoming a pride for everybody. So it's exciting. It's not just those
allies. The A is ally. Listen, Pride Month used to happen in other places. It was like in New York or Toronto or Berlin has a huge Pride. Normally it's in April. Normally it's in June. We do it in April here because it's just too hot to do a parade. And so I've participated with Steve Adkins in the Gay and Lesbian Chamber for years. And what's great about that is it really is about pride. So think about being on a float, and the parade route is from 5th to 15th on Ocean. Okay, so it's 10 blocks. It's quick, and you're rolling down.
How many people?
Ocean? Thousands.
Is it?
Thousands.
You on the parade?
I'm on the float.
Do you go like this?
No, because we're on the big bus and we're doing like confetti cannons, and I'm just trying not to get like a sunburn because it's still April and it's hot out, and I'm very fair skinned.
Really? I didn't notice.
What I would tell you about Pride is that people come in large groups. So they come with their friends, whether they're gay, straight, bi, lesbian, whatever. They come to celebrate and be very free. And they come in as little clothing as possible.
You too?
No, not
please.
me.
Tommy, can we get a picture of that?
I'm always up there on the bus like this. What's going on down there? No, okay. And you know what? Everybody's beautiful.
He wrote, all the establishments have these numbers in the name. 13, 23, 29.
That's the same one.
Okay.
You're on the money.
Okay. Good, George. Mark will get on top of it. Okay.
And George, you don't mind if I reach out, right? Because that was the issue kind of with my other member who kind of wanted to handle it on their own at first.
So this past week was Juneteenth.
Yes.
And Holmes Bradford, by the way, who's 95.
G. Holmes.
G. Holmes, you know.
What's his first name? Is it Gordon?
Mr. Holmes.
Oh, yeah.
So, by the way,
Dr. Holmes Bradford.
When he left University of Miami, when he graduated, he had a house back over here. Yeah. Most people don't know this. South Miami in the 50s did not have the same street addresses as Dade County. Gables, South Miami,
like Hialeah
and Hialeah. But South Miami changed. But then he moved down next to Howard Drive. So I known him. I'm 64. I've known him since I've been 7 or 8. Bobby, his son, had passed away. We grew up together.
Yeah.
But he spoke at the South Miami Juneteenth. That's to make sure I know who you are. He said something interesting. He was talking about it. He says, you know, somewhere down the line, your ancestors, my ancestors were slaves.
Sure.
And it was interesting.
Enslaved in some way.
Right. So Holmes Bradford, who I love, you know, he's a big baseball fan too.
Yeah.
And a football fan. I don't think he's missed a football game in 47 years. Yeah. So
at Miami.
And he goes to away games too, but I don't know if he counts that. So you have new board members, I read.
Yeah, so let me just say,
and it's only women.
One quick thing about that. I've only met G. Holmes Bradford one time. And he was at an event where he was being honored and they were giving out scholarships to students. And I was one of the MCs and I got to introduce him. But beforehand, I saw him and I said, you know, I rarely ever meet the guy behind the name of the school, right?
Right.
And a buddy of mine went to Braddock. And I told him that story and he was very charming. And I said, well, it's just very nice to meet you. You know, most of the times when things are named for people, they're long dead. And so it's kind of nice.
Yeah, Holmes Braddock, unbelievable.
And by the way, I just want to say one last thing about Pride Month. I was talking to a commissioner on Miami Beach this morning, David Richardson, who's a personal friend and a great commissioner. And Wednesday, the city moved to name its first street in honor of a gay advocate and icon, Harvey Milk.
Wait, so the first gay street.
There's streets named for a lot of people in
this is the first
Miami
gay one.
Beach. This was the first one named for Harvey Milk, who was
a San Francisco guy.
San Francisco member of the board of county commissioners, who was murdered along with the mayor, George Moscone, by a fellow commissioner who killed them both in cold blood. And that's how Dianne Feinstein became the mayor.
Oh, really?
And went on to great acclaim as now the senior senator of California.
Well, it's interesting, that movie. What was it called? Milk. It was a great movie.
It's a great movie. Sean Penn, great.
Yeah, he's outstanding. So
congratulations, David, and there'll soon be an unveiling for that. I think it's the first street name for Harvey Milk in all of Florida as well. So congratulations.
Well, David Richardson and the commissioners at Miami Beach. It's a tough job they got.
Listen, there's 7 of them. They're elected citywide. It is tough. There are a lot of significant issues, especially the last 4 to 6 months. A lot of debate over, what's happening there in terms of, spring break and dealing with the virus still, and folks just kind of popping off.
Well, thank you for asking, Commissioner Richardson. Commissioner, I would open Ocean Drive. Closing it doesn't help. I would open it, but that's if you're asking me. But we got some other things going on. Didn't you have a panel with Canada?
We did. So we worked with Susan Harper and her team, Georgette, and we put together a program on sustainability, which was really great. We had about 45 or 50 folks join us virtually. We even had the head of their sustainability from Toronto zoom in, which was really cool. And it really was about, have you used this time well to position yourself, not only for recovery, but for whatever the new normal looks like. And so, at the end of the day, hearing from, the Consul General herself, from our mayor, from our sustainability team, our IT people, the IT folks out of Canada, and a business owner or two who are working in this space, including our own Annabella Smith. So, I'm always delighted to be a partner, and even more delighted when we have an opportunity to do that with folks like the Canadian Consulate and Susan Harper.
So board members, you excluding males now? You look at 4 females?
So we had 10 people on the ballot. I think we had 6 women and 4 men. And
You allow one man to get on the board. That's really nice of you.
well, it's an election. Several hundred members voted, and they
Really?
elected.
That's exciting.
They elected Rudford Heyman from Jelly Places, Rosella Papale from RP Branding Studio, Myrna Vaca from U Health, Jessica Wilcox from J. Wilcox Consulting, and Monique Selman from Albany Homes Construction. So the ladies had it. They had 4 of the 5 elected seats. Chair coming in, Anna
Who's that?
Chowie.
Oh, what bank is she with?
With Grove Bank and Trust, a GEM member of ours. And I hope that she'll join me for a future show here to talk a little bit about her annual conference, which is coming up on August 19th and 20th.
And the conference is at Biltmore.
It's at the Biltmore. It's live and in person. We are exploring having on Friday only, some Facebook Live virtual, working with Martine on our team on that. But for the most part, we're hoping people will attend in person. We'll have a great breakfast, an incredible lunch, as I mentioned last week, with Kim Eng, the general manager of the Miami Marlins, the only woman, a general manager of a major league team in all the major leagues. And she's going to come and talk with us about her journey, but also give us a bird's eye view into a lot of the decisions that have been made. And, you know, the team has had some ups and downs, but there are Marlins. We love them. And as you know, our chamber, along with our fellow chambers, have a very keen eye on making opening day really a corporate holiday almost. So
Kim is a trendsetter. I think football, there's a pro football team looking at a woman general manager.
I think it's going to happen. I think she said something to the effect of she interviewed like 14 or 15 times. And she just knew that the opportunity would come. And you know what? You got to give anybody, man or woman, credit for that stick-to-itiveness.
Oh.
Sort of like Susan Lucci winning, you know, a daytime Emmy 19 times. The streak is over.
Okay, so
I love how you have no idea what I'm talking about.
I understand everything you're talking about.
Can I say one last thing about Juneteenth? So I gave each of my staff a book on the history of Juneteenth. And I said, you know, I'd like you to read it, read up on it. And next year, we will close the chamber in honor of Juneteenth. But the staff will be working in a nonprofit of their choice that day. So they're going to volunteer, mentor, whatever it is, one of our member nonprofits, they'll spend the day. And so the office will be closed. But next year, Juneteenth will be celebrated on a Sunday, but we will on that Monday have everybody volunteer. So, you know, whether that's Be Strong International or branches, you know, and those programs are robust in the summer because they're doing summer camps and mentorship and tutoring and really working on students' academic slide.
Be Strong. I was at their event last week in Goulds Park. It was outstanding.
Yep.
But
Michelle Shirley and the whole team. Amazing.
I have to give a shout out to one of your members. I forgot his name offhand. Santa's, he gives for senior citizens.
Yes.
Talking
about Gabriel DeArmas,
right.
Be a Santa to a Senior, a program that we have done.
It's emotional.
All 15 years that I've been at the chamber. And my favorite thing about it is twofold. One is when you get the little note cards that tell you what the seniors are looking for. And it's the most simple things, like a pair of slippers or, you know, some hand cream or, you know, something that we maybe take for granted. And, you know, I was thinking about this yesterday, Grant, with what happened with the building collapse. And all of those folks who survived are going to need everything because they can't go back into that building. It's too dangerous. I don't know how they're even going to get their belongings out.
Well, they can't. It's crushed.
But I'm talking about in the building that's left. That building's going to have to be completely demolished.
Right.
They took people out off their balcony onto the cherry pickers.
And there was one gentleman who was walking his dog. Did you hear about that?
No.
Some young gentleman and heard somebody crying and rescued him.
I did. I didn't realize he was out walking his dog, but he said that he heard the young boy. This was the boy that was rescued first, and that he put his cell phone light on, and the boy kept saying, "Don't leave me." And he said, I stood there with him until the rescue could come over.
And his mother lived, lost her leg, but she's alive. Okay.
I was listening this morning, and the mayor unfortunately had to announce, 4 more deaths. And, the governor said it yesterday. We need to brace ourselves for a much more significant number because, there's 90 now, but 5 people unaccounted for. And
Yeah.
I hope a lot of folks went out of town, but it never seems to work that way. But I was listening to a young woman whose parents are missing.
Yeah.
At this point, and she said, this doesn't happen in our country. Buildings fall in other countries. We've seen it. We've seen it in earthquakes and in natural disasters and in just bad infrastructure. But to happen here in South Florida, it's a very emotional response because of the loss of life. And we're a giant community of 2.8 million people. We certainly don't know potentially any of these people, but we're all going to know. I already know one person whose law school classmate is missing in that. That's 1 degree, 2 degrees of separation. And that's the small town that is.
Yeah, a friend of
Miami.
mine, the Lozano brothers, Brett and Brad's stepfather, was in the building. So let's move forward. We got what's going on in July. We got the morning breakfast that I am pumped up about.
July's a big month. So, on July 6th, the entire staff comes back to the office. No more rotation, no more distancing, and we'll have all of our July meetings still hybrid for committee meetings, but we'll allow now.
That's convenience.
We'll now allow 10 people versus the 7 people. And that's just to continue to protect my staff. Not everybody has chosen to do the vaccine, so I want to be mindful of that, but also to protect our members, some of whom also have not done that. But we'll have a multitude of events in person. So the rundown is the following. The first big indoor in-person event is Good Morning Coral Gables, which we mentioned before with Coach Damari. July 15th, back at our regular time, 7:30 a.m. It's going to be amazing. We're giving out our City Beautiful Awards. We have a special award this year that we're doing, which is Best Temporary Outdoor Dining. We're recognizing a great restaurant.
Who voted on that?
We have a team of 5 judges who are all architects.
Oh, hats off to the mayor, but the manager who said, no, we're just going to leave everything as is until the end of 21. We're not going to change anything back.
We did, and there was some, by the way, we've had that vote 4 times. We've extended it multiple times, and it's always been unanimous. But, it's good to have the conversation as to why they're thinking maybe in a different direction. And, the manager is very supportive of business, the mayor, all the commissioners, and it was a no-brainer, almost with very, very little input or commentary.
All right. Your social media is growing. You have 5,700. Goal is
6,000. We want to do that before the annual conference. So we're doing a couple of different engagements. We're still doing our Summer Love and Promo. We just launched the book club. So that gets a lot of interest in terms of the summer reading list. So thank you, Mitchell Kaplan and Christina Nosti. That came out on the first day of summer because it's your summer reading list. So it's been out about a week. If you saw our Instagram yesterday and our stories, we had a few of those titles featured. We're doing one of those titles at our book club on August 6th, and we're doing one at our annual conference. If you know, Les Standiford, the great Miami author, has just written a book about the business of Barnum and Bailey, and called Under the Big Top. And it's a great read, and we'll be doing that on August 20th. So thank you, Les.
Okay, on July, I got to circle back on the July 15th breakfast.
Yes.
I'm just telling you, Mark will stand up in front of everybody, ask you to pull out your phone, and he's going to give you instructions how to follow Coral Gables Chamber of Commerce. So my suggestion is do it now.
Right. And
Don't wait, because Mark will call you out.
Well,
you won't do that.
That's a strong word.
Okay. So this month, what was your goal in new members?
So our goal every month is 18. And right now, I think we're at 17 new members. We've got 2 gems in that group, which is
huge,
amazing. We haven't had a gem member all year. We had 2 this month. Thank you.
Who's that?
Matt Love and Perry Ann Reed from Nicholas Children's Hospital. And I also want to thank Al Maulini from Morgan Stanley, the Al Maulini Group. They handle our investment and endowment fund, by the way.
Yeah,
which, by the way, gangbusters, we put $600,000 in that from the proceeds of our chamber building sale. And the market's been really favorable over the last year. And proceeds from that will then be spun off at the end of the year and help finance and fund our Welcome Center. And that's what it was designed to do. So super proud of our chamber that we were able to, through our board's direction, upon selling our building, to create an endowment. And with that endowment, we have very specific goals. And, we're well set up for the future. It's not been an easy year and a half. We were very much buoyed by the PPP dollars, but now we're starting to see a return. We had 20 plus new members last month. We're at 17. We still got 3.5 days. So we're looking for a couple of trustees. Join us. And of course, members of all shapes and sizes. And you want to join now because our directory gets printed next month.
Yeah, Wayne, I know you're listening. Please join.
Hi, Wayne. Wayne's a corporate, and we've been trying to get him up to trustee. So now's the time, Wayne. And thanks for the referral yesterday. Had a great chat.
Okay, we just did 2 videos on 2 of your members.
We did. We did one on Scent Hound, and
What
they
a
just
great guy.
opened. Man, he's great. They just opened last Saturday, and this is kind of their soft opening period. He told me this past Monday, they had sold out. They had 37 appointments. So I took a tour. Is it possible that in your video you were sitting in the dog tub?
Yes.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Yeah, he was trying to wash me. Yes, he wanted to clean me up like the dog. That dog's adorable. All right. And what about the restaurant?
I want you to know that that's a 3-step process. I'm hoping they skip the 3rd step.
Yes. And we got 2 minutes. Talk about the restaurant, the grand opening.
Yeah, so we did a grand opening at Eclectico with an event that we hosted at the shops at Merrick Park. Thank you, Andy Peach. Thank you, Nikki Diaz. Thank you, Ramsey. Amazing. Go and check out Eclectico. It's a gorgeous new space. And most importantly, an amazing menu. Ramsey has 2 other concepts there.
In the mall?
Including Sabon, which is upstairs on the 2nd floor, and Sawa.
The restaurant you did doesn't open till 4:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah, they haven't started lunch yet.
I was there.
Staffing.
I was there for lunch yesterday, but it wasn't open.
It wasn't open. So where'd you go?
Yard House. Okay, so
Also a member. Thank you.
But Vince Lago showed up on time for the ribbon cutting.
He was there. He did a great job. First of all, the mayor does 3 things, which I want to applaud him for. He's very, very collegial, and so he encourages his colleagues to attend and recognizes them and includes them. He recognizes the city staff who do the heavy lift. Even though that space was a restaurant, it had been empty for quite some time from when the previous gastropub went out. Right. And, you have to come back in. You've got to make sure your grease trap is up to code, which had been changing in the county. You've got to deal with myriad issues, and that's a pretty big space. I love the mural they have on the wall. It has Frida Kahlo on it, Marilyn Monroe.
Who else?
I took my picture in front of it because I think you
should be on the wall.
Someday
you'll be on the wall.
I'll go from being a D-lister to a C- lister. But you did a great job, and the mayor did a great job. Oh, and the 3rd thing he does is he really understands the value and importance of business to our community. That cross section allows us to have flexibility in incredibly high-level services for our residents, our business community, and our visitors.
All right, we got 4 things to go over. Conference.
Yep, August 19th and 20th in person at the Biltmore. Here is the theme. You ready? Maybe Tommy can help me with a little music. It's Reunited, and it feels so good.
Okay.
Reunited, and it feels so good.
Fairchild Garden.
Fairchild Tropical Botanic Garden. Our friend Sheree Gladwell would make sure to invite you out to see Jurassic Garden. That runs through the middle of July.
Are they trustees?
They are members of ours, and I had a chance to go out and have lunch with Sheree. She is their chief development officer, and to take a tour and see all of the installations. I was never a big dinosaur kid because we weren't really into it. Plus, they were still alive when I was born. But now kids are crazy for it. Great for families, great to be outdoors, great learning opportunity.
Olympics, go.
Olympics start the 23rd of July. Love the opening ceremonies. They're calling it Olympics 2020, even though it's 2021. Here are my 4 favorite Olympic sports. Anything in swimming and diving, track and field, of course, gymnastics. And are you ready? What do you think it is?
Underwater basket weaving.
No, but you're close. Synchronized swimming.
We got 2 more things about it. That girl who just broke the world's record, what was her name? The one with the long red hair, long fingernails.
Oh, she's amazing.
She's a beast. I don't remember her name. Pride Month comes to a close.
But let's have Pride all year long. And don't forget that the Marlins will do Pride at the Park in September. And thanks to my good friend Steve Adkins for always being a great partner 365 days a year.
And closes out. It's a wrap.
Weren't there 4 other things?
That's it.
That was all 4?
Fairchild, Pride Month, Conference, Olympics.
Oh, we did it all.
All right, closes
Well, ladies
out.
and gentlemen, I can't believe it, but we're coming to the end of yet another month.
Who let the dogs out?
It's Friday, which is a little bit strange, but so is Grant Miller, and I'm glad to be with him. Let me tell you 2 things that I know about Grant. There's no one better at picking up the phone and letting you talk it out when you're having a moment. And there's no one better in engaging with our community. He loves this place. Miami Community Newspapers has been at the forefront of showcasing our community for 50 plus, 60 plus years.
50 pounds. We go by
And
pounds.
Michael Miller, who's now moved into the studio here.
He's kicking us out, I think.
He kicks us out because he kicks you out because we like to have our little catch up. Join our chamber, folks. Now's the perfect time. 1, help rebuild your business.
446-1657.
And most importantly, get in our directory, which goes to print in about 3 weeks. If you want to be a member so you can be included, we mail that to every household in Coral Gables. We send it to every member. And of course, every visitor picks that up as well at our new sanctioned welcome center at 201 Alhambra. Call us to join 305-446-1657. Ask for Mark or Jen. Hey, reunited.
And we stay. All
Make
right.
it a great weekend. See you next week.